What is up, man? Another RedNationBlogga post, another night, man, of just great playoff basketball, man. The first game, I'm not really going to talk about the first game that much. I didn't really get a chance to really sit down and watch it. But the second game, man, I had two things I want to talk about tonight. First, Utah Clippers. What a game. And secondly, I want to talk about Nikola Jokic. I'm trying not to make this too long, but I gotta say what I gotta say. First, man, Donovan Mitchell, 45 points, efficient from the field, poised, knows when to take over. He might be one of the best players I've ever seen to split a screen since Dwayne Wade. Just an all-around incredible talent, and this guy has been doing it for so long. This guy, he's been doing it since his rookie season when he went up against OKC in the first round. Then he went up against a 65-win team in Houston in the second round. And then the very next season going up against Houston again. And then last year, 50-point games in the postseason versus the Denver Nuggets. And then now we're into this season. You know, this is a guy that's only in his fourth year in the league. And he just seems to be getting better and better, more comfortable. And Utah as a team, you know, I kind of got off the Utah bandwagon around like late March, early April, you know, when Donovan Mitchell went down. And it kind of even before Donovan Mitchell went down, I was one of the ones earlier in the season saying, hey, Utah's coming out the West, you know. Utah's probably the best team. They play offense perfectly. They play defense perfectly. They have the perfect mixture of talent and cohesion. They got a superstar player that can go get them a bucket, because a lot of people was comparing them to the 2015 Atlanta Hawks. And the difference between the 2015 Atlanta Hawks and the 2021 Jazz is Donovan Mitchell. They didn't have a player like that on the Jazz to match and get them a bucket. And even that team went to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's not like that team lost in round one. But this team, man, they have the perfect blend. They have great coaching, a coaching staff that trusts each other, players that trust each other. They have a great system on both ends of the floor. They have a defensive player of the year. They have an MVP candidate in Donovan Mitchell, arguably a top 5, top 10 shooting guard, depending on who you ask, you know. So this team, it was a great game. I'm really not going to go too much into, I guess, game one analysis, because the Clippers just coming off of a game 7 series against the Dallas Mavericks, in which they had to fight and claw just to get that victory, just to get that dub. So, you know, I don't really, you know, Marcus Morris is missing shots. Paul George went, I think, 3 of 15 or 4 of 16 or something like that. Kawhi Leonard was kind of, you know, he was there, but he really wasn't there, you know. So I'm really not going to really divulge into, you know, the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, for God's sakes, in the first quarter, the Utah Jazz had a stretch where they missed 21 straight shots. And, you know, it was like a 10-point game at the end of the first quarter. Like, you know, so you can kind of tell that the Clippers were trying to steal that game one. But, you know, Utah, at the end of the day, they're riding the wave of the crowd. They're riding the wave of being at home and being comfortable, having 6 days off after taking care of business versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'm not going to really go deep into analysis with that. I just say credit to Utah. Donovan Mitchell, you're an incredible basketball player. I'm saying it as a Rockets fan. I'm rooting for y'all. Well, I'm not rooting for y'all. I'm rooting for the Nuggets. But if the Nuggets can't make it, I'm rooting for Utah Jazz. You know, that's just how it is. Secondly, man, I wanted to dive into the Denver Nuggets. Actually, not the Denver Nuggets. I wanted to dive into Nikola Jokic, man. I've been saying pretty much all season long that Jokic is the best player in the NBA. And it's proven today. 91 out of 100 first-place votes for the MVP award. Nikola Jokic is an incredible basketball player, and in my opinion, the best basketball player in the association. Like, he has no weaknesses in his offensive game. Like, I guess his only weakness would be he's not athletic. That's like the only weakness that he has in his game. He can shoot from the 3. He can shoot from the mid-range. He has post-up game, back to the basket, face-up game, you know, posting you up from the mid-range. You know, he can handle the ball. He often runs point guard. We've seen him average 50, 40, 90, and average greater than 30 points per game versus the Portland Trail Blazers. And that was without Jamal Murray. That was without Will Barton. They picked up Austin Rivers, who was waived. Nobody wanted Austin Rivers, you know. And these are the things that I pay attention to, because people are going to say now, like, Austin Rivers, oh, he's contributing. But who was Austin Rivers? Because 29 other teams didn't want him. Denver wouldn't have wanted him if not for Jamal Murray's injury, if not for Will Barton's injury. They needed point guard depth. They got somebody named Campazzo from, I believe, the Argentinian league or the Spain league. Forgive me, I apologize. I'm not really well versed, but he's a hooper. Where did he come from? He's, 29, 30 years old, and he's coming into the NBA. Jokic just makes guys better. He makes things work. Aaron Gordon looks the best that he's ever looked in his career. Michael Porter Jr. is a stud. And Jokic just continues to grow and continues to develop and become this superstar, this top one player in the league. And to be a center, to be a big in today's NBA climate, and to be, in my opinion, considered the best basketball player, that's saying something about your skill set, because it's hard to do that because all the guards that's superstars, all the wings that are superstars are elite with the ball in their hands. You don't really, you wouldn't say, no disrespect to him, but you wouldn't say Klay Thompson is the best basketball player in the NBA, even if he is playing at a high level, because of the simple fact that the ball is not always in his hands. So how much can he affect the game? Jokic is a big, and the ball is in his hand, but his usage, he was like top 20 or top 25 in usage this season. He wasn't really dominating the ball. He's just a very skilled, very supremely talented big from Serbia, and I love this kid's game. I'm going to say it again. I think he's the best player in the association. And I think people just need to appreciate him more and what he brings to the table, because that talent, personally, I'm only 29 years old. I've never seen that type of skill from the center position. I've seen bigs that are dominant and they dominate the game athletically. I've seen bigs that can score on you and they dominate the game scoring. I've never seen a big like Jokic that can dominate scoring, that can dominate passing, that can dominate rebounding, that can dominate ball handling, that can you can put in the middle of the floor and just tear a team apart. I've never seen that before. I'm sure there was some bigs before me that I never got a chance to watch, so I'm not going to say he's the best ever, but from my eyes that I've seen, with these eyes, never seen something better. But man, that's pretty much it, man. Great night of basketball again, and I'm out.